There we are. Making sure we're actually going live. Yes, good. Hey, what's up, Hacksters? Welcome to another week. It is MCU Monday, as usual. So at the last Maker Faire in the Bay Area, a couple of friends of mine pointed out this board they were excited about called Obniz. And it sounds really cool. It has to do with, it's an IoT board based on the ESP32-WROOM chip, and it has IoT capabilities over Wi-Fi, but also includes a little built-in OLED screen, and has a couple of examples using it with artificial intelligence stuff. Plus you can program it with block code, Python, JavaScript, Node-RED, and more. Tons of SDKs, and as well as a fun in-browser option for programming this thing, which is what I'm going to try and demo for you today. We will see. First, let's bust this out. So it comes in this cute little package. Very neat. Make everything online. With a little QR code linking to the web page. Then, yeah, it has the getting started guide. This is produced in Japan, and it's kind of clear because some of the getting started pages are still only in Japanese, which I don't know, but I'm still able to ideally get up and running with the whole JavaScript tutorial set, which I checked and is in English. So if I bust this open, then we have a little bubble wrapped board. Ta-da! And you can see the ESP32 chip on here. This way up, your little OLED screen, and a couple of little connectors here, which I think are just for hanging it, in case you wanted to do like a name tag or something. You've got a little row of headers here with breakout pins. The interesting thing about this that I noticed in going through the Getting Started guide is that there's no labeled ground or power pin. And the tutorials seem to treat these as all sort of interchangeable, which is really interesting, and I'm curious to see how that goes. Another cool feature of this board is this switch here, which not only pushes in, but also from side to side, and I'm curious to see how that gets used as well. So we've got 12 pins total, GPIOs 0 through 11. And let's take a quick look at the website. So we've got here Objectify the Real World, starting from 60 bucks for this board. At Maker Faire it was 35, so we got a sweet deal. But you can control multiple of them from a single one of them. You can talk to it with your phone and control it that way. Through a web page, for example, you can do AI projects with it. So, for example, failure prediction they mention here, but also there's some really interesting other ones like this panda face that we'll look at in a second, which I think is brilliant and weird. Fully controllable from the cloud, bidirectional and real time. You'll see an example, assuming everything goes well, of reading from a sensor on this board. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start playing with this thing, because I can't wait to get my feet wet. Oh yeah, you can check out the detailed info about the ESP32-WROOM series on this page at Espressif, which is linked in the description to this video as usual. And they also have a product page on the website that shows the different stuff that you can do. There's an OS version of this board, also called the M5 Stack. And we've actually got an interview coming up for you that will talk in more depth about that. So for now, we're just going to focus on the basic Obniz board. You can find them on Hackster with a ton of different projects. There's this unlocking an iPhone from the Obniz. What? It turns into a Bluetooth keyboard? That's so weird and slightly creepy. Slightly scary, but as long as no one, in order to make that, someone would have to know your lock screen code to start with. This is an interesting one where the panda's face is controlled by 2 servos and it copies your own expressions. Whoa! You've got a little remote controllable car that you can control by moving your phone around. And you've got a remote cat feeder, always a popular project, the remote pet feeder, which I might need to use to feed my plants coming up. Got some travel. Oh, speaking of which, I'll be at Teardown this week in Portland. This is a conference being put on by Crowd Supply. Teardown 2019. Na-na-na-na. Yeah, it's going to be Friday through Sunday. Super awesome. I'm really excited. I'm going to be on a panel. I don't have all the details yet, but it looks like it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a puzzle hunt. There's going to be all kinds of other cool stuff, and I'm excited to hear from all these cool people about what they've been building. Oh, yes! Okay. So let's get started. I'm going to do it the JavaScript way, because that's what seemed like a good idea. They've got this developers console where you can log in with GitHub or whatever. Okay, let's go. I'm just going to plug this into a power source rather than my computer, because I think it doesn't actually need to talk to my computer. What happens when I plug it in is it should... it gives me a little 8-digit code, and hopefully that's not anything that you can use to control it. Maybe it is, but I'm not going to leave this like hooked up or doing anything super sensitive, so I don't worry too much. And what it says is, switch this! Oh, I'm curious what that does. Boom. Oh! Join Wi-Fi, and then it has like, I'm just like scrolling through the little Wi-Fis here. That's so cool! Ha ha ha! Oh, I didn't know we had a new Wi-Fi for the conference room. Cool. And I'm going to push it down to select. Oh! And I'm not going to show you my password, but I'm just scrolling through the alphabet here. Again, I'm not going to leave this hooked up to anything, so you probably won't be able to do anything nefarious with that 8-digit code. I think it's just an identifier. This is going to take a while to type in. I should have done this first. In the meantime... Oh no, is it no, it's just slow. Okay. In the meantime, let's talk about what kind of cool stuff we could build with this. So the Panda project in particular is interesting because that's what Archimedes, my pet robot owl, has been doing with the Google AIY Vision Kit. The thing about that AI project, let me pull this up for you really quick while I do this. The thing about this one is that it uses a computer to sense, for the camera to sense your emotions and stuff. So a lot of these AI examples that they have rely on it talking to a computer, but I mean, you know, that's not too bad. I hope there's a backspace on this thing. And so it does something very similar, which is reading your facial expression and responding to it. Speaking of which, one of the things at Teardown this weekend is going to be a talk by Heather Knight about expressive robots, I think, which is extremely close to relevant to my interests. It's going to be on Saturday, I think. Oh, so exciting. Nearly done here. So if you have things about expressive robots, you know, that's and things that respond to you with empathy, that's always really interesting. In fact, the ESP32 site mentions a project called Empathy Swarm that a couple of, I think, students, at least of artists, have been working on. That's a bunch of little robots that collectively respond to your emotions. There's so much stuff going on in this space. It's really interesting. The swarms are especially interesting. Okay, so I think I've typed it in right. Now, how do I get it to actually... Oh no, there's a whole upper alphabet too. How do I just be done with this? Maybe it tells me in the quick start, but I'm going to scroll through and see what all the options are. We got all the numbers, we got some like digits and stuff. Little special characters. Come on, let's be done with this. I've come not to the end yet. How do I end the password? How do I do it? There's back end. Aha! Haha! I should have gone backwards through the alphabet. Cool! It shows me this QR code, which I will take a photo of so that I don't lose it. Okay, scan or open. Oh, I think it just goes to Obniz.io, but let's check. Come on. Phone is not detecting it. Come on. I think it just goes to Obniz.io because it says scan or open HTTPS :// and again it gives me that little 8-digit identifier. Cool! I have already completed step 1, which is buy Obniz. Fantastic! I'm already ahead of the game. Yeah! I've connected to the Wi-Fi. Remote control Obniz from the SDK. You can find all their GitHub or all their SDKs on GitHub. You've got, if you go to just straight /Obniz, that's the JavaScript one. But then you've got the Python SDK. Down here you've got the Node-RED SDK. You've got Blockly, all this good stuff. What next? Let's use Obniz from the web. Almost all the examples of programs on this website have an Obniz ID, which is that thing we were just talking about, form, and execution button. So you put in the Obniz ID, you put in you program up a little button to test it, and then you make the thing go. Okay, so type in your Obniz ID and press test run or test open, then the program will run in your browser. Cool. Well, let's see, where is the... oh, it's in the ID, right? Yeah, cool. So here... oh wait, no, here. It is $13.99/709. Obviously, if you are doing this for yourself, you do not want to actually put your ID in a tutorial. I'm gonna move myself over here so that I'm not blocking the screen. And let's have a look at what happens now. So we've got this guy. And I'm going to... oh, do I have to put it up here as well? Test open. Oh, it's red. Wait, it's still red. It's green! Hey! And on here we've got pin assignments written down. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. up to 11. Interesting. It goes to 11. Sorry. Oh, yeah, so let's say it says hello world, print on Obniz. Let's do that. Hey, and it says it! Fantastic! That's so easy! And this is done with a little simple so this is a little simple HTML website that is just coded right here in the browser. Here. Oh, what if I pushed the switch to one direction or another? Will it change? No, it doesn't know where the... wait! Oh, hey! It does know where the switch is! Cool! There's a little bit of delay, I think, but this is actually pretty much instantaneous. So it can sense left, right, and push. Yeah, when I look at this in the browser, it's basically instant. Cool. Nice. All right, so let's see what's next. Yeah. By running with your Obniz ID, your browser will be connected to your Obniz. Yeah, okay. It's easy to integrate internet and electronics. If you know about HTML, you may imagine more fun things. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. Oh, and it says copy this HTML into your local HTML file, then open it in your browser. It works. Okay, I will do that. I'm going to save this as... get a little comment at the top even. I can fit all this in one browser window. Okay, I'm going to save this as obniz.html. Save. You can't see this, but I'm going to open it in the browser in just a second. Let's do that. Hey! This is just literally file users Alex documents obniz.html. And if I say, like, Print on Obniz, and it's there. It's just right there. It's so fast. So fast! Yeah! Am I centered? There we go. Print. So fast. Does it scroll through? No. What if I push the button? No. I'm sure I could code that up though, because it can tell what state the button is in, so it should be able to auto-advance. Cool! Next, first program of the lesson. Online HTML editor. Let's write a simple program to use Obniz. With Obniz.as, it becomes easy to use Obniz from JavaScript. Each Obniz has one free HTML. Let's try using it to write a JavaScript program. I think that line, each Obniz has one free HTML, refers to the fact that you get a license with the Obniz for the cloud thingamajig. So I think that means you can do it from the cloud. So I'm going to enter the developer's console. So special. This is the same thing I had open already. What do you do? Open the program page by pressing the program. It'll ask for your ID and stuff. Let's do that. I should just copy and paste this ID from the other page. That way I can... Oh, it's already in there. Ha! Cool. It knew it from me putting it in the other page, I guess. That is fantastic. Move myself over here again. Hi, everyone. Hope you're not getting disoriented. In fact, I'm going to try and squash myself down a little bit so I can... Here we go. Yeah, cool. Yes, I know. Try tutorial. This is so cool. So we've got on and off buttons I see in here. We've got one that says print. That's just a div. So here we're setting up a wired LED. And interestingly here, yeah, like I mentioned, there's no power and ground pins. You set up anode and cathode. So anode is your power leg, your positive leg on your LED, and cathode is your ground leg. But you're just going to put them into pins 0 and 1. So here I've got a red LED hooked up with a resistor. And I'm going to put the long one in 0 and the short one in 1. Go in there. There we are. Okay, and let's see if this will work. Clear the display, print hello world. Print hey guys. Either my space bar isn't working or hey guys. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Okay, then when the switch state changes, then you should print the state of the switch. That's pretty much what it was doing before. Then when you click the on button, it'll turn the LED on, and also print on the little screen there. And when you click the off button, it'll clear the screen, print off, and also turn the LED off. Cool, that seems pretty nice. Let's run it immediately! Okay, guys, let's do it. The program is running. Let's see the Obniz at your hand. Yes, let's. Okay. Okay, we have the thing here. It says, hey y'all, as expected. I wonder if I can flip this upside down, because these things look like they're meant for it to hang. Or maybe you like stick something through the bottom there and it sits on a table. Like that would work too. Cool, okay, so let's see what happens when we push these buttons. I gotta find my screen again. Here we go. On. Off. So fast. On, off. On, off. Oh my goodness, this is so good. It's so easy. Fantastic. And if I save this to my local machine, can I download it if I hit that share button? No, it gives you a QR code. That's so cool. All right, what if I click over here, open a new tab? I don't want either of those. I want to just, okay, I'm just going to select all. And I'm going to replace, I'll say this is a new one, why not? Okay, so paste that into a new HTML file, call it test obniz.html, save, open that in my browser. I got the same thing going. It says, hey y'all. And if I push the thingies, on, off, still works. So cool. And the interesting thing about this is that I have these open in 2 different windows. And actually, what happens if I have these in separate windows, but both open, and I do on in this window, and then off in that window? Can I do that? Off. Oh, it reset it to off when I opened up that one. On. It looks like they can both be connected at once. Off. On. Off. This might make more sense if I'm going to close it in here, and I'm going to open up that QR code on my phone, because I'm going to see if I can show you this a little bit better. Okay. So we've got it here on my phone. We're going to have it in the browser, and jankily hold this up at the same time. That kind of works, right? Kind of works. Do that. Okay, so I'm going to do on and off. This takes a bit of poking, doesn't it? Could be because my phone is broken. But the LED is indeed on right now. Oh wait, no. Yeah. It's just very dim. I think it has to do with the resistor being too big. Actually, that was fairly warm. Huh. Maybe it wasn't big enough. Anyway, I'm going to try just sticking this green LED directly into there. Oh. That doesn't want to do anything. On. The green LED appears to be totally done for. Let's put this back in. Oh, it says off now, though. So what if I put this back in here and hit on? Nope, green LED is still dead. Okay. Ah. And I'm definitely putting it in the right direction. Cool. Okay, here we are. LED on. And I'm going to try and turn it off with my phone. It instantly turned off when I hit that. Okay, on. Off. On. Off. Oh, hey. Apparently my aim is bad. On. Off. On. Off. And you can see the little text on there as well. Cool! Well, okay, so it works on my phone, it works if I save the file locally, and it works in the browser here. So that's really cool. Let's check out what is next. Keep writing. This is the online HTML editor. We already did kind of all that. Within the program page, HTML you wrote on iframe can be opened. We did that. Oh, there's a show console button at the bottom of the iframe page. When we hit this, we can say show console logs, and we get some logs at the bottom. Local WebSocket error is trusted true. I don't know. I'm not that good at software stuff, so it's working, so that's fine. Ooh, and it should print hello and the current time. Wait, this might be a different example actually. What if I test open this one? It's saying hello world at me. Where is the little console log though? Maybe this one isn't totally set up. Okay, well anyway. So what can you do when you want to write and save more programs? Your Obniz has a license. Once you create an account and activate the license, that's me, what I've done I guess, you can save on the web as many HTML and JS files as the set capacity allocated to each license allows. create an account on the register page, did that. By creating an account, you'll also be able to use functions such as Obniz event, which will automatically run your program based on a configured trigger. It also becomes possible to restrict access to your Obniz by setting a key. That's probably what I'll do later on in order to prevent you sneaky people from infiltrating my device. See more details in the cloud documentation. Cool, we have done it. Now it's talking about turning on an LED, which we've already sort of done. Oh, maybe this is the one that corresponds to what we're doing here. But here, yeah, instead of having just this stuff, so this is all embedded in a script tag in HTML, telling it that it's JavaScript, and this appears to be just a simplified version of that, actually. And does it automatically populate that? Yeah, it looks like it automatically populates that when you do it in your developer console. The interesting thing is that in my original HTML file, the Obniz ID was given without a hyphen, and in this one it's given with a hyphen, and it seems to work both ways, so that's nice. Controlling the LEDs using buttons on HTML, we did that. We're beyond this. Next, basics of HTML and JavaScript. And here I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions on Facebook Live. If you're watching on YouTube, unfortunately I don't have the bandwidth to check all of these things at once, but I do watch Facebook and check out. So Alex Vaughn says, technically most I/O pins can be set to ground by setting the pin mode to input and then digital write it to low. That makes sense. I would guess that you meant output, but yeah. However, you can't input voltage or amperage interchangeably with all IOs, since only some are regulated or routed to the regulators. That makes sense. Cool, thank you. Fantastic. HTML is just a text. HTML is a document format for the browser. It is written with attributions like size of text, location of text, and where to jump when something is clicked. We know what HTML is, mostly, probably. I don't know. So if you like open this, for example, it's just a little basic page that says hello in the top left. Okay, they're gonna go into some cool stuff about CSS to give you styling on these pages, which is pretty cool. In fact, later on it's gonna talk about Twitter Bootstrap, which is what my personal site is currently written in, and is a very nice framework for creating pretty simple, beautiful pages. If you're more advanced, it'll probably look a little simplistic and cloney, but for people like me who aren't super great with that stuff, then you know it's cool. By attributions, I think they mean like just style tags, basically. I mean, not style tags, it's a CSS thing, but like, you know, things that make the text look different, like this. If you make it strong, it goes bold. If you do strong style red, then it goes red, etc. Sadly, there is no more blink tag. I think that was discontinued. But then you can do like, you know, put a picture in there. So you could, for example, have it display a different picture based on different things that you click and whatever. And then JavaScript, you can put JavaScript in there. But the console log stuff isn't showing up in here for some reason. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. But yeah, you can pull in like jQuery, you can pull in different scripts. Oh, let's look at this actually. This is just a sort of primer on web programming, whatever you call it. Basic front-end programming, I guess. Oh, and then they say, you know, if you connect a temperature sensor instead of an LED, you could display the current temperature or draw a temperature graph by incorporating the JavaScript chart library. This is some stuff that's really interesting to me. There's all these libraries like D3.js and P5.js and 3.js, and I'm not sure what the difference is between all of them, but they're for sort of graphics and 2D and 3D and can do really cool stuff with your numbers if you want to make a beautiful interface. But I'm curious about the RC servo motor. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, cool. So goodbye LED. Let's plug in this servo that I have here. It's a little micro servo, a Sunfounder SF006C servo, just a little micro servo, and I've plugged in some male-to-male wires here because it's got a female connector, and these will go into the female header on the Obniz board. So it says to you got your ground, voltage, and signal wires. So ground is going to go to IO0, VCC or power is going to go to IO1, 0, and then, yeah, I got 2 is the servo motor signal. Go in there. A little bit of a tight fit, but that is good because the friction will help hold it in place. Okay, so we've got this servo now. Very exciting. I'm going to move myself over here again. Have this in my left hand. So, wouldn't it be super cool if a servo can be controlled from an HTML slider? The slider looks like this. You can slide it with your mouse or finger. Let's add a slider UI to the HTML. Cool. The slider is defined by input type equals range, but you can change its ID to whatever you like. Min and max are the value range, and typically a servo can go between 0 and 180 degrees, so we're using that as the range of the slider. Pardon. Next we'll see how to control the changing positions of the slider. So you can look at this, it's just in the servo motor lesson, and it's going to output a value to variable val when it reads a certain value off of the slider. So then they have a way of controlling the angle of the servo motor. You create a servo. Well, that's going to be the... Okay, yeah. So they have their own little library, something here. Obniz.wired, and that tells you the name of it is going to be servo motor, and then gives it the 3 pins that you're using for ground, VCC, and signal, and then sends it a certain angle. So let's try this. Test open. We've got the servo motor thingy up. We've got a slider, and oh, it's so fast! Cool! That's so effective. Nice. Wow, this is really sort of sparkly. This is really cool. It's so easy. It's like, you know, this is always sort of what people are trying to tout their microcontroller as being super easy to start with and stuff, and this one is just, it's really easy. Weirdly easy. And you could also like display the value on the screen if you wanted to. In fact, why don't I go and try to modify that? I do want to do the getting a sensor value though. Come on, just give me this. Copy this. There we go. I'm gonna throw in a new HTML file. Call it servo.html. Wait, Obniz servo. And I'm going to put the Obniz ID in. And I'm going to grab the code for printing to the display. Obniz.display.clear and Obniz.display.print. And I'm going to have it print I'm going to see if it can just... I'm not super familiar with how print works in JavaScript. We'll see if we can... If we can just print it this way. I'm going to open this up in my browser. It might hate me. We'll find out. But if this works, then it'll print the current servo value to the OLED screen as well. I don't expect it to work because I'm kind of wretched with software. As I keep saying, I should stop putting myself down there, but you'll see. I'm kind of like, let's see if this works, kind of fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing. Okay, did that work? Hey, it did! Nice! I should believe in myself more. Cool. Neat. Alright. So what next? Get a sensor value. Nice. So now we will learn how to get a potentiometer's angle from the web. The potentiometer is a part that changes its resistor value according to its angular position. I've got a tiny little trim pot here because this is the only one that I could really find that that would work for this demo, which is kind of ridiculous. But basically it's a potentiometer that instead of having a big knob that you turn, you use a screwdriver to turn this tiny little knob on the side. So it won't be quite as exciting of a demo, but you know. So connect the 3 cables of those to Obniz 012. And there are like red and black and green cables on here, but really that doesn't come into it as much for a potentiometer. You've got a wiper, which is sort of one of the contacts, and then the 2 other contacts are sort of ends of this resistive material. So you can look up more about potentiometers if you want. That will explain that. So they're adding a div in the body of the code to print the position of the potentiometer. Oh yeah, and how are we reading it? We're creating a meter object, Obniz.wired potentiometer on pins 0, 1, and 2. Add a function that will be called when the meter's angle changes. So meter.onChange equals function position. And presumably we've got to put something into that position. So, and it's going to print a string onto the DOM, the display, when the computer display, when the meter gets turned. By using jQuery, text can be set as below. Cool. That's the text on the controller page, either on your phone or on your computer. So let's test this. Okay, cool. So it says potentiometer. Right now it says angle equals 180. Let's see what happens if I mess around with this a little bit. This might not. Oh no, here we go. Oh, it might be a little weirder with this trim pot. I'm not actually sure what its exact attributes are. I can tell that something's happening, but it's doing really weird stuff. So I think that this is actually not the optimal device. Man, if I only had like a regular potentiometer in here, this would be a lot cooler demo. What if I just stick a flex sensor in there? No, it doesn't like that at all. Well, I guess it would be acting as a voltage divider, so... Anyway, doesn't like it. That's fine. Next, dial controls servo, but we should just do a slider controls the servo. We already did that, though. Okay, never mind. We're going to skip this. I'll come back to this someday when I have a good potentiometer in here. There's another example that tells you how to integrate 2 Obniz together, so you can have a potentiometer controlling a servo motor that's connected to a different board. However, I have but one of these, so we will not be doing that today. Very cool though. Like, look how fast the response seems to be in that GIF. How to loop in JavaScript. So if you're familiar with Arduino programming, then you're probably used to seeing a setup function and a loop function, and those are sort of like the setup function runs at the very start of the sketch after you define all your pins and stuff, or maybe you do that in your setup, up to you. And then it goes into a loop function that just goes on and on and on, like repeats over and over for as long as you have the Arduino plugged in. And so this is sort of a way of doing that, creating something that loops over and over as long as your Obniz is plugged in. Apparently, by the way, it doesn't have a shutdown function or anything. There's no switch for that. You just unplug it. It turns off. Simple. So you can program loops in a couple of different ways. Set timeout and set interval. Then you say this repeat function, obniz.repeat. And then there's while true and obniz.wait. So while true is a thing that's used in a few different languages for just being like, you know, forever, basically. So let's see, JavaScript has a loop function embedded already. Set timeout is to call a function after a set time. Set interval means to call the function periodically, so every 15 seconds or something, you know. So let's see. So let's make the servo motor move sequentially and make it look like it's waving. Oh, yes, please. That sounds adorable. How are we going to set this up again? I think we did like, it says, and right in the code it says ground is 0, VCC is 1, signal is 2. That's very nice. Here is my servo. Oh. I'm just checking that I'm in frame. Okay, test open. Obniz instant HTML. Ah! Cute. So, what is this doing? It's saying, create your new Obniz, then on connect, do this thing where you create your servo object connected to these pins, initially set it to angle 0, and then set an interval to do this thing every 1000 milliseconds or 1 second. And then this thing that we just said is an asynchronous function. Set servo angle to angle. So in this case, angle has already been set to 0. So the first time it runs, it's going to set the servo to 0. And then if angle is 0, then set it to 90, else set it to 0. So it just flips back and forth between 90 and 0 and does that every 1000 milliseconds. Cool. And then you can also use obniz.repeat. Oh no, set interval works fine, but there's a problem that it does not stop even when it gets disconnected from Obniz. So this obniz.repeat function will automatically stop calling when the Obniz gets disconnected. Cool, so we've got this. And then if our Wi-Fi went out or something, I guess it would stop. So instead of using set interval, async function, servo angle, etc., we are using obniz.repeat async function, servo angle. So you pretty much just replace set interval with obniz.repeat, and it's still got that 1000 millisecond timeout, basically the same format, just replacing the function. That's really nice. And then you have a pause function. I need to drink something. It's almost 8. I'm almost through this though, so let's then you can light an LED for 1 second. I think this is less interesting than what we just did, so I'm not going to do it. But it's another way of doing the same thing. You say, you set up the servo, and you say while true, servo angle is 0, then wait 1000 milliseconds, then servo angle is 90, then wait 1000 milliseconds, and that just repeats over and over and over again. So instead of having the millisecond wait or the second wait built into the function of repeating, it's a separate command. So if you wanted, you could have it like go to 0, wait a second, and then go to 90 and wait half a second. In fact, can I edit this? No. Wait, maybe. Yes. What if we do this? Oh wait, but I want it to do this. Oh, it is still on the servo motor. Cool. So this should do like a a longer... Seems to have a little bit of trouble with the timing, but in general, it's sort of... Wait, why is it being... Oh, we actually had a console there. Oh. If I copied all that stuff from the console log, then I could actually see why it's doing that seemingly variable wait time. And then finally they have this page on how to change the HTML design of your page. So as you saw, we've been been working with simple text and simple sliders and stuff, and a little bit of images and a little bit of buttons and stuff. But you could make your page look way cooler, open it up on your phone, like wow your friends and have them be like, oh my goodness, look at this gorgeous graph, look at these amazing buttons, look at my talented friend, how amazing and glorious they are. So if you want your friends to say that about you, you could style your page, and then they tell you about kind of how to do this. So this is the really basic little plain text and plain button that we've been looking at so far. And we're all bored of looking at that. So you can grab some CSS, throw it in there, and make like... Honestly, I think this is kind of worse, but but the point is the freedom is yours, right? You can make whatever ugly or gorgeous things you want. You can, and then it tells you about incorporating Bootstrap, which is wonderful. Then you get this nice sans serif font. You get this pretty colored button with like little effects and stuff. And as they say, it looks very cool. It's true. We added button class to the button, so the button changed its color to blue, etc. And then they link you to Bootstrap. And then finally, there's ways that you can add your own parts. So we used a servo, we used an LED, we used a potentiometer, but you can also create your own parts for use with your Obniz board. And this tells you how to do that. Super cool. And I'm not going to go through that whole thing because we are rapidly approaching 8 o'clock and I want to jump off of here. But there's some other interesting stuff. What was it? Oh yeah, here we go. So if you choose your device as the Obniz, for example, and then you go into the block programming and go to the quick start, this one is in Japanese! So if you speak Japanese, you can totally do this. And, it's block programming, so it's probably simple enough to follow. But I'm hoping that they'll update the rest of the site with English as well, and you'll just be able to switch between the two languages. I think that'd be pretty cool. In the meantime, you can find a ton of these projects on Hackster, just Hackster.io/Obniz. They've got their developer team. This is actually, it's not a product page, it's a profile page. So all their projects are just right here. Find the Unlock iPhone one, the cool panda one that like mimics your own expressions. It's got a really cute demo actually. Controlling a car with your iPhone's acceleration sensor and feeding your cat and stuff like that. All accessible right now. So go get yourself an Obniz board if you want to build interesting little IoT thingies. And especially if you want to work AI into them, they've got some good tutorials for that. And all these different languages that you can use. Also stay tuned for our interview with Luke Henderson of M5 Stack coming up in the future. I'm not sure exactly when yet, but we will have that sometime in the next few weeks. It'll be super cool. Have an awesome rest of your MCU Monday. Lovely to see you as usual. Let's check the comments before. Someone says, what color signal pin? The signal pin on the servo was yellow. Alright, have a great night and hack on. I'll catch you later. Ciao.